Welcome to Positive Vibes. I'm your host, Hunter Dixon, and today our topic with Winnie Lee Chu is taking action. Winnie Lee Chu is a law of attraction expert based in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. She has been a student of law of attraction for over 20 years, and her specific focus is on how to raise one's vibration. She's here to help you explore the secrets of attracting more of what you want. Now, before Winnie Lee joins us, here's a reminder for our listeners. If you have questions or comments during the show, or at any time, visit us at facebook.com/Positive Vibes Show. Winnie Lee, thanks for joining us on Positive Vibes.
Hunter, thank you for coming on and hosting for us again.
Well, let's talk about taking action.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of my favorite topics.
Now, do you have a quote that you wanted to share?
Yeah, let's start off with a quote, one of my favorite from Henry David Thoreau. If one advance confidently in the direction of his dream and endeavor to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected in common hours.
Wow. From Henry David Thoreau. That is pretty profound.
It is. I remember when I first found this quote and heard of this quote, I was searching all over for the exact wordings, and I was just so blown away by it.
So tell us about taking action.
There's many different ways of looking at it. What I really learned over the year is there's different kind of action. There's inspire action versus just somebody taking action, which they think they might be taking action, which is really actually them just doing something at that time because they needed to get it done, or maybe somebody tell them they want to get it done. So people might just mistaken the doing part as really taking action.
So inspired action rather than just doing something.
Yeah. So
yeah, tell us about inspired action.
Well, inspired action, it really comes back down to the thing is whatever you do, if you feel really good and it make you come alive, then that's really like by taking inspired action, because at the end of the day, after you finish something, then the next thing will show up, that event will just flow in your life, and you will most likely get even more done in a very short period of time, and you'll always be there will always be, like I call matches. There will be better matches for you, even though you might not understand why you're taking something or doing something at that time. But for starting, then the next thing will show up and it will become better and better. You know how they say the better it gets, the better it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what I call inspire action.
So give us an example of an inspired action that you took.
Yeah. Recently, I was in a project helping out my brother, and I spent 6 hours just sweeping the floor at this new house project. And there was
6 hours.
Yeah, 6 hours. That was my only task for that day, was just to sweep this house. And this house is like a 4,000 square feet house, and it's 3 level.
Oh.
So it was an interesting experience, definitely. And there's they just put up all the frame for the house, the wood, and they clean up a lot, but there's a lot of little chipwoods all around the whole house. So my job is to sweep those up into, and sweep them up into pile and then put them out into garbage and everything, right? And one thing what I really noticed is because the house is still hasn't, all the drywall, everything hasn't been put together. So there's still you could see the all the blocks and stuff, that frame, and they also have little gap in between the frame, and in there's also lots of these little chipwoods.
Uh-huh.
So what I did was I just keep sweeping the whole house, of course, and then when I got to that part, I didn't know what to do with it, but what I did was just put them in a pile and sweep them in a pile, and just left it at that, and just keep working around the whole house. And actually, it was really interesting. My partner that was helping me for that day, all of a sudden, eventually, he came up and started helping me putting those chipwood, that one that was inside those frame. He started picking them up with his hand, which he was wearing a pair of gloves, and then he put those into the garbage bin. And I thought, oh wow, that's so brilliant. And I would never have thought of that in my, when I first started. I just know, I don't know how to get it, put them into the garbage bin with my broom and dustpan, because it just couldn't fit because it's so narrow. But I just started the process and just left it at that, and then just keep sweeping, putting everything else in pile, and then all of a sudden somebody come and help me put everything into the garbage bin. I go, oh wow, that is so cool. So I guess my point in this is, when you as long as you go like back to the Henry David Thoreau quote, as long as you advance confidently in the direction of your dream and keep moving forward, something else is going to come and match up your energy and your vibration. So that way you're going to be in a better place.
And you certainly did that in moving forward confidently in what you did know how to do and letting go of the part where you didn't know how to do it.
Yeah, and it was a very interesting experience. But I mean, I spent 6 hours, but then in the 6 hour time, I was able to, do a lot, listen to a lot of my audio that I always like to listen to, and help me, get inspired for the whole day. So it was such a powerful day for me just to spend sweeping versus just like somebody else is like, you did sweeping for 6 hours, how much are you going to get paid, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So you were being very productive in listening to what was the educational or inspirational audio that you were listening to?
Yeah, listening to tons of inspirational, like a lot of the work that I'm sharing with you guys right now. I'm constantly, embracing it, almost like still like a few hours, couple hours a day.
Yeah. Excellent. So you are definitely living your talk.
Yeah, it is so much fun.
So if there's inspired action, what comes after that? Is there something, persistence? Definitely you were persistent in sweeping, even though you didn't know the end results. What else can you tell us about taking action?
Well, there's the other flip side of the coin, and I know myself, I have done it many times before I got to where I am now. There's also the other part of just doing something and get mistaken for taking action. Right? Like, and people, like, sometimes, for example, there's like everybody has certain things they have to accomplish in a day. They might just do it, and because it might feel good at that time by just doing it, but you might still end up going in circle, and because you're not really doing what you really love to do, you're doing it because for the sake of doing something, and that will stop you from going forward in a way that you feel good, and then you might get immediate benefit from getting something done, but then at the end you're still going to continue to go in cycle. And for example, I had witnessed a case yesterday when somebody was not very clear on their action and they had one day off, so she really just wanted to spend her day taking care of all the little things that she has to do, which is good. But she also promised me that she's going to come and receive light, which is another practice that I do daily. But she didn't end up showing up for the session because she was just too busy wrapped up in her day-to-day function and event that she couldn't really learn how to break that pattern. And she really wanted to break that pattern and move on to something better, to live a life more of abundance and joy. But because she's still stuck in that pattern, the opportunity will, she will continue to miss some of those opportunities to move forward and focus on what she really wants, right? But as she was still focusing on what's better, what's in it for me, what's better, what can I get to right now so that I will go back to work for another 5 days.
Yeah, just to get things done. So how can you check in with yourself to make sure that the action that you're taking is inspired? What are one or two key questions you can ask yourself about the action you're taking, if it's inspired, and to know if you are on track?
Like one of the things is if you feel good about doing something, then you know you're on track. If you feel like so alive that you're there, and keep coming back to ask the question. So so what do I want? And then some of the things you might have to do it. You have no choice but to do some of those actions. Like for example, in my case, when I was sweeping the floor for 6 hours, it wasn't my ideal choice to be there sweeping for 6 hours. But then I look at it as a way, oh wow, I get to have a nice view. I get to listen to audio. I get a break from my daily routine. So I was just so excited to go and do the stuff. And it's back to some time when people are. It's how you feel an event when you're doing the event, and making it the best of that situation. So that to me is a lot more being inspired to do something, and then something else will open up in the process, right? Because we're not always going to have a choice to do what we want to do.
Right, yeah. And by looking at that, feeling good, asking, so what do I want, and looking for the positives, you're raising your vibrations.
Well, absolutely, because then I'm learning how to harmonize with myself with a higher vibration and that frequency, and really, law of attraction just matches that.
Very powerful. Winnie, it has always been great talking with you. Do you have any final words for your listeners?
Yeah, basically, really, I'm really inspired by a lot of stuff that Henry David Thoreau, and what I'm also studying right now is Bob Proctor's 11 Laws, which I probably will leave a link at the end of the show where you could get access to it. When Henry David Thoreau really expressed it best, when that if we advance confidently in the direction of our dream, we pass this invincible boundary where all sorts of things begin to occur, and that's where we have to keep working toward.
Pretty exciting.
It is pretty exciting, and like we always talk about, law of attraction just really matches your vibration where you're at. So the more happy you are, the more joy you have in your life, you're going to get more of that.
Well, Winnie, thank you so much. Those are very powerful words that you've shared with us today. And thanks to our listeners for joining us on Positive Vibes. You can follow us at facebook.com/Positive Vibes Show. And just a reminder, if you enjoyed the show today, please share us with your friends on Facebook and on Twitter. Thanks for listening, and hope you take inspired action today.
Thanks, Hunter.
Thanks, Winnie.
Thanks for listening. To learn more about the Law of Attraction and to get access to all exclusive resources and interviews, visit www.winnieleechew.com. That's www.winnieleechews.com.
You know what?
CHUUS.com.
For the title of the audio, you could call it Inspired Action.